All right, everybody, it is me, Adam Sessler, over there, Anthony Carboni. Say hello.
Hello.
But we have a third person, and look what the third person is holding. It's one of them newfangled PS4 controllers.
Huh.
Yes, because we're about to check out RESOGUN. This is a game that's available at launch, and this is Michael Havery, who has been working on the game. Thank you so much for your time and coming by with the game.
Thanks for having me.
So before we jump in, what is it? Obviously, you guys sort of have a history making these games. I like to call them the zone-out games, where you kind of get into that, space where you just keep on playing and racking up scores.
Definitely. It's like an old school arcadey type of genre that we're doing shoot 'em ups or shooters, and you do zone out. So, if I'm playing the game and explaining about it, I might go incoherent for a while, but hopefully I can talk a little bit.
Well, I mean, like you guys worked on Super Stardust. Yeah. And so obviously that is, that is among the apotheosis of that type of game there.
It is. Well, thank you. And this is kind of a different take on it. So we went from a sphere to a cylinder, and a lot of other cool new stuff there too. A lot of similarities too. So yeah, just a different take. We wanted to call it something different, and hopefully a lot of people will get to see it soon.
All right, well, let's jump in. I imagine the audience would like to see a PS4 game, functioning right in front of them.
Look at that beautiful undulating wave of voxels.
Exactly, yeah.
I love it.
It's a custom graphics guy back home that did it. So.
And kids, fun game at home. Count up how many times the word voxel will be uttered by one of the three of us in the course of this.
We've been using a variation called voxels, which we coined ourselves. So we can use either one, but voxels doesn't mean anything.
What's the difference between a voxel and a voxel?
It's just we think that voxels is something that kind of is more descriptive.
Okay.
But it's actually just not a real term, so it's.
I like fake things.
So hot
voxels
right
is
now.
cool, yeah. I think we can do like a hashtag voxels type of thing going on. So yeah, so basically a lot of different difficulty levels. Actually, they do matter this time. So the game changes quite a bit. We have 3 different ships here.
Okay.
Let's go with Ferox, kind of
your balance ship.
Across the board, balance ship. And I guess first level, of course, to start with. We have the best button of all, throw human.
Yeah, throw human button. That isn't the most common of buttons. So obviously, you guys don't work on narrative-based games, but it's aliens holding humans captive, and
we like to leave a lot to the imagination. It's not going to be as intensive into story kind of stuff. But yeah, it's an arcadey experience. And,
save the last humans. There's your story.
it's enough of a story.
So we have our humans trapped in there.
Yeah. And basically, every time you kill like a cluster of different type of enemies called keepers, then they get released, and then you have
look at the little guy.
There's the human.
And then you can.
I should be throwing him. We threw a human.
You can also just fly them over, so you don't always have to throw them. But throwing gives you like a strategic advantage. If you're really in the tight spot, then you can throw them, and throwing does benefit from boosting, so it's.
So this has definitely got like a slight Defender influence here with the back and forth.
Slight, yeah. So imagine Defender, other similar games, except with Defender you have that small map on top.
Sure.
And I guess with us we have the cylinders, so
you can kind of see what's coming. Yeah. The same way that the map would offer you that same opportunity.
It gives you a strategic advantage. These are the keepers
it's an interesting play on your horizon line from Stardust too. Where you have that sort of that semi-visibility where you think you know what's coming in the distance, but you got to be real sure.
So the upgrades that the ship is getting, is that just through success during this play session?
Right. So we have the main weapon upgrades, which you just saw there, and those are given on the playing field at given points. So those are sort of automatic. But then when you rescue humans, you also get points and/or other weapon upgrades.
And you guys can't hear this, but Michael's controller is talking to him.
It's talking, yeah.
And what is it telling you?
Basically, all the information. I'm so special. All the information that's given in the game there, it's just counting out to me, just in case I have the sound too low or something. But yeah, it's all features that can be turned off or higher or lower.
A lot of comments on how smooth this game looks, and I got to tell you guys, as great as it probably looks on stream,
It's incredible right here.
Yeah, I had watched your video from Eurogamer Expo, and it looked great there, but oh my gosh, it's real crisp.
So let's go ahead and do the question that everyone's asking about all games at all times right now. What is your resolution and frame rate?
So we got full HD, 1080p, and frame rate is always 60 frames per second.
All right. There, we have it. So let's talk about the fun stuff now. Okay, the visual feedback. This is something you guys are not strangers to, but I just love it. It's just kind of, you know, your success just brings you just sort of voxels everywhere that you can see all over the screen.
There's a lot of them.
Is there kind of a logic that you guys employ? Because, you know, as you are doing an arcade game, there has to be that kind of quick cause and effect and that reason for you to sort of stay in the loop.
The importance is on lightning fast, reflexive gameplay. That's like the primary thing we do. So having the 60 frames per second is the only way we can actually do that level of involvement. So these are the things that, you know, when we start making games, like, okay, can we do 60 frames per second? That's where we start from.
Wow.
And then story comes in a bit later.
Well, I mean, and also though, like, there's so much that can be going on screen at any time, but it's still quite clear to sort of see what's going on and what your next objective.
Like, all the voxels and voxels that we have going on do clutter up the screen a little bit, but then again, we try to balance that out. And we have all in-house technology, so the guys who, you know, work on the game actually make all the tech too. So it's kind of like a controlling, balancing issue where, well, we actually have the game pretty much in a very good stage for the last half a year. So we've just been really just polishing it out.
Fans of Stardust will notice he's making really liberal use of the overdrive. It looks like it's much more important here than it was there.
Right. Overdrive, actually show you here. Overdrive, oh, that's not the wrong button. Overdrive is, now this is a kind of a special weapon. The boosting is something that's really integral to the regular play. And, just lost my multiplier. But yeah, the boosting does charge by itself, is that half circle on top of your ship. So you can use it whenever it charges back up, and it actually works so that the more enemies you kill, the faster it charges. So you can sort of do like indefinite boosts.
Gotcha.
Almost.
So somebody in the chat asking any story behind the RESOGUN title? Does it mean anything, or is it just rad sounding?
There's gonna be, yeah, I think rad sounding, and it's cool if they like it, because a lot of shoot 'em ups have these weird names like, you know, Radiant Silver Gun and Ikaruga, and nobody really knows what they mean. So I think first and foremost, that's what we're going for.
Ikaruga is a favorite of you guys, right?
Yeah, Outland especially had a lot of influence from that. So yeah, we wanted to go for something really cool. Then again, there's some storyline built into it, but as deep as our storylines comes, it's still one of those things that I think fans will appreciate to some extent. So yeah, and also all the different ships, they have different guns, so there's kind of this gun theme going on. So without getting into it too much.
Right. Let's not get into too much semantic depth.
Right.
That's the decision to call
looks like
it
we're building our boss here.
Right.
Somebody was commenting on how lovely it is that when the voxels just explode and crunch into the background, and actually look like they destructed a little bit too.
So for the benefit of maybe those who don't know, what is a voxel?
Voxel is sort of a three-dimensional or a Fox three-dimensional pixel. Wikipedia will be much better at defining it than I am. So I think everybody interested. First death so far.
That's why you get for asking about voxels while in a box
get
battle.
distracted. But yeah, it's pretty much the third dimension of a pixel. So if everybody likes and knows old school games, that, you know, pixels is very, even in modern indie games, it's a big thing. So.
Well, and it lends itself to a particular kind of visual quality that a polygon can't match.
Right. It is definitely that. And you can see my speech actually going off in its own things while I'm looking at it.
That's okay, get that dude. Oh, look at that.
Look at that.
So this is what we call the Armageddon Spectacular.
Yeah.
Actually,
that's a good name.
I call it Phantom Vision.
It's pretty much what it is.
So I'm definitely seeing, you know, in addition to a little bit of the Defender vibe there's definitely kind of a Blade Runner / Einhander thing going on with your environments as well. Huh?
Yeah. I think Einhander is something that maybe was, like a lot of shmup games are underappreciated to some degree. I think that's one of the greater games that I played when I was young.
So underrated, right?
And these things are like, when I talk to the creative director of this game, he's always telling me, you know, after a couple of beers, he's like really getting into why these games influenced him and explaining like, oh, the Defender Arcade had so many buttons and it was difficult, but he still played like hundreds of hours of that too. So you can really like hear the vision come alive, and how these games weren't just games to these guys. It was like absolutely, that was a reality.
Oh no, I mean, obviously the real treat here is your playing of this is not limited to how many quarters you have in your pocket.
Right. So yeah, that kind of, but then again, the quarters did have some influence on how well you played.
Well, no, obviously your quality, excuse me, of focus.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was scratching the back of my throat.
So tell me a little bit about your upgrade systems and stuff. Obviously, in Super Stardust, so you were leveling up 3 different guns that you could swap between at any time.
Right. Here we have a single gun per ship. So different ships have different guns. On top of that, we can upgrade the overdrive, which we saw and actually can demonstrate soon also. Then basically rescuing the humans will give you access to other, you know, various upgrades like extra lives and bombs.
Okay.
Let's try to rescue this guy here.
Nice.
Take him home.
They're so bouncy.
Throw him.
I love it.
So yeah, the overdrive. Oh, sorry, again, the wrong button there. So this can be upgraded, and let's boost within that too.
Wow.
So that's kind of like the super weapon. The bomb, of course, clears the screen, but this thing is just kind of like for those really big masses of. Oh, lost my shield there.
I just love the transfer of the announcer to the controller.
It's really.
I don't know how clearly you guys are able to hear it if you can at all, but it's really nice.
Microphone. Start to get something out.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Human lost.
Also, I wanted to ask about the physics that are in the voxels.
Right.
That they have this wonderful.
In the
they
voxels?
are in the.
But there's these wonderful kind of parabolas when something explodes.
I like how this gets scientific.
I think that's why, even not playing it, there's something so visually satisfying about it.
So basically, every level, even the stuff you see in the background or the middle ground there, they're all made out of the same voxels. There's about almost 10 million of them per level, and
wow.
The blowing up scenes, we can get up to about 200,000 live voxels with physics and lights enabled. So that's about like the tech specs that we can give out right now.
So people are asking, you guys are available at launch, and you're also available for PlayStation Plus members, right?
Right. So this is a game that's going to be free for PlayStation Plus account holders, and I believe that all people who buy a PlayStation 4 in the first month or so will get the 2 weeks PS Plus for free included. So technically, it's going to be free for all first buyers.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
People are asking about any kind of co-op or versus play.
Yes, we do have online co-op.
Nice.
So that's for 2 players online.
Simultaneously, or you kind of trade off?
Oh wow! So you can do back-to-back shooting and all kinds of cool things.
Nice.
But the thing is, we couldn't do same screen online, not online, but local co-op, just for the fact that it's such a different system. So let's say I'm flying on this side, the other guy's flying on the other side.
You could be in 2 different places. Yeah.
Right.
Because of the cylindrical way that you built it.
And we didn't want to split screen right now.
Honestly, yeah.
I wouldn't split screen something this pretty.
Yeah, I would hate to see this cut in half.
Exactly. So, but yeah, the online co-op is pretty cool, and it really changes up the game. Of course, leaderboard score hunting, that's going to be a big
part
of it.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I mean, that's really going to be sort of at the heart of this is...
Exactly.
So we're only going to see a few levels here today, but Tyrannus Cheese wants to know, do the levels get bigger and more complicated? Is it more like Stardust where, you know, you're always on this same sort of structure, but just enemy waves and different types of
Right, so there's a lot of different elements. I think in Stardust it was more like the 3 different guns and the elements kind of that goes along with those. Here it's more about thematic elements that just are in the level that are particular to that given level. So let's say in the 3rd level we'll see some ice stoppage, kind of slow motion type of things, and of course the enemy types and everything. I think we're getting to the 2nd boss here.
Nice. So for everybody who's asking, we are recording this locally. You will get the highest res possible from our studio after the stream, because we do want you guys to see the detail in this. Talk to me about DLC and stuff, because people are like, you guys supported Stardust for quite a while.
Right. So we have a similar plan for this, and we feel that this can be the PlayStation 4 shooter, and we would love to make it that. And our aim to actually realize that is to, you know, keep on supporting it. So at launch, we will have a certain set of modes, certain set of co-op gameplay and all that. I think I just killed myself there. But like with Stardust, there's definitely an intention of continuing that down the road. And I believe that a game like this needs to have that kind of a follow.
No, I mean, that sense of I want more, I want more.
Golden
Anthony,
Fighter,
do you want to take a whirl on the game?
I would love to.
I'll take your computer.
So
sure.
we can do, let's try a different ship, Nemesis.
I would love to try Nemesis.
Is actually my favorite one.
So let's try,
You can go 3rd level, 2nd level, whatever.
Sure, let's
so this guy actually has the homing missile type of weapon.
Oh, okay.
So it's a bit easier, but also maybe not as powerful then. But yeah.
Save the lost humans.
Okay.
do save the humans, yeah.
Can do.
But I mean, with the humans,
figure out your buttons.
It's kind of like a balancing act too, because you can't always be running around just to get the humans because they get killed.
You have to have your priorities.
Right. So
I mean, look, there's more than one human left, so we can lose a couple.
We can lose a couple, and you're not required to get them all anyway. So it's not like it's more of a bonus kind of thing. If you want to get extra lives. And
but the pleasure in throwing a human is undeniable.
That's the thing.
It's undeniable.
You have to throw humans. I mean, this is pioneering the throw human field. I think that we're looking at... This is
part of a new genre that will, you know, really, like, throw human. We're hearing it here first, but we'll not be hearing it here last. Yeah. Without voxels.
2 years from now, when the human throwing is a genre, remember where you saw it.
In Finland, we have cell phone throwing world championships.
Give me that nude!
And also the boot throwing championships and such.
And that's right, you guys are based out in Finland.
Yes, we're in Helsinki, Finland.
Obviously, you know, that part of just Northern Europe is becoming, you know, very, very well known. Not necessarily Finland in particular. What is the development community like in Helsinki and sort of the, you know, the greater areas of Finland?
It's pretty good. Right now we have Rovio with Angry Birds is there.
Of course.
And then a lot of these
small little place.
mobile stuff. And then our friends at Remedy with Alan Wake and
this game reminds me a little bit of Alan Wake.
The story.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to get
It's a running joke.
It's a running gag.
It reminds me of, But it's a small community, but it's a really, really close-knit and friendly community, and I think the long winters help us code more.
I have wondered that.
Yeah.
If, you know, some mixture of the long winters and the healthcare just somehow produce like all of these incredibly sort of immaculate games.
Stay home, not worry about it, just code more. So this is Phobos, and actually he has like the close range weapon and then the longer range weapon.
Oh, nice.
The longer range is really powerful, so it's going to split up into, well, when it hits an enemy, it splits right out there, so it's a really powerful weapon.
So a couple of questions here. Is this in any way designed with a 3D TV?
Good question.
So at launch, we will not have 3D capabilities, but it's not ruled out.
I mean, obviously, what's happening on screen, one can see that
it could be pretty cool.
Stardust is one of my favorite games to have 3D support for sure. I can just play it endlessly.
The spherical playing field there.
It's beautiful, and just everything that you guys do with particles and effects and stuff, just you guys do a brilliant job with depth of field and 3D on that.
Yeah, thanks, appreciate it.
You know, something that I want to ask is, because you guys do use so many effects in your games and all these particles everywhere, how do you keep everything readable by the player? You know, obviously you have a level where you keep everything super simple with very little effects, and then you have Jeff Minter Overdrive level, where you're playing Space Giraffe at 3 a.m. and you don't understand what's going on in your life.
I guess that's the balancing act. Just like, let's say we had the game already pretty well done, but then if somebody's complaining, testing's like, where was the ship? I couldn't see it. We take that into consideration, and it's really important for us to know where that fine line is.
Am I throwing out some sort of a stasis field or something? Like, I think I froze an enemy in that disc. What happened there?
So in this level, like I was saying about the kind of different levels and different themes of elements they have in them, there's these small things that look sort of like a sort of retro snowflake, that little blue field. So it freezes enemies. So when you shoot it, it creates this field, and then they do get stuck into it. So that's an element, I think, it's only in this level. You can actually see on the left-hand side there now, and a human being brought up.
Sorry, buddy. I got my own problems.
When you get in the zone, it's really hard to, like, for us spectating.
Yeah,
we can see the stuff in the background.
Yeah,
and there's enemies coming around, and
well, you gotta do that.
Fixated on what is at the matter at hand, which is the enemies.
Well, you gotta do that in Stardust too, and you do. You develop this level of focus in this weird field of peripheral action vision.
Yeah.
So what causes the dead humans in the box?
Right, so right now you can see these are green, but if they disappear before you can kill them, then human that's allocated to that level of keepers, which is the, I guess, number 7 out of the ones up there.
Yeah.
Then the human just dies in there.
I love the announcer just telling me that I got points.
Yeah.
That's great.
Thanks for the points.
So a couple other questions. Does this support the remote play?
Absolutely.
There we go.
Whoa.
This does kind of look ideal for that.
Yeah, I think
things just got real.
A good fit for that. So basically, it's the same as having kind of the same controller and the screen, except that the screen is now in the middle of the controller. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one. And the thing is that this kind of game, it's simple enough to see and kind of focus on that. And I think it's going to be a good experience.
No, I think so too.
Oh man, this gun.
We have Buddy Brantley, who must be coming in a little bit late. What the hell does the throw human button do? Exactly what it says. You throw the humans into that green area. You save their lives.
So
it makes me think of, you remember in Rumble in the Bronx when Jackie Chan throws that baby right before the hovercraft falls into him? That's exactly what the throw human button does. If I'm about to get crushed, I just toss that guy to safety.
Exactly. It's, that would be a good reference point to come up to.
You can have that one. You can take that. That's yours.
I'll use it later on.
Throw in the baby. Throw in the baby. You heard it here first. Coinage it starts here.
Absolutely.
People have also noticed that there's an arcade mode and a single mode. What are the differences?
So those are the things we're going for right now. There's different levels you can play. Single level, referencing to the fact that you just want to play that single level, try to get the high score there. Kind of a different mode if you just want to be the top of the world for like that level. The arcade mode lets you go through all the levels in unison, so the score will carry on from there. And these are just the first modes we'll have for the the beginning. Also, the co-op will be just the arcade co-op. Well, I mean, you can play single level too, but we'll add modes later on. Hopefully sooner than later. And there's some really cool stuff coming up. So
I'm curious, because obviously with some of the stuff we talked about, would be a DLC or we just talked about with the modes.
Yeah.
That game development now is you're almost in a persistent work in progress. That idea of like, I'm done, I'm going to walk away from this.
Yeah.
Is that? I mean, it sounds like there's benefits, but then also you can't say I'm done. Like you don't get to like have that glass of champagne with all of your coworkers and then take some time off.
If you like, we had that glass of champagne because we see this as the final product. But then going beyond that kind of extends it, and it's always kind of rolling, and it's a process. But still, I think that if you review RESOGUN, this would be it. This is really the arcadey. It's the core.
Yeah.
Like this is the game.
Like the spirit of the game is
right here.
And that's already abundantly on display.
And then, where we go from here, we're looking at a lot of different types of DLC. We haven't really hooked up on like, do we just want to do more levels, or do we want to do more ships, or what's going to happen?
Yeah.
But I think there's some really creative ideas out there too.
Oh my God.
I want to play around with the voxels.
Stay strong, buddy. I'll come back for you.
Play around with voxels. You know who might really like this game? Rip Taylor. Because this is the evolution of confetti.
Yes.
Right here.
Yes.
I mean, this
is, like you said before, the Fantavision.
Sweet match game reference.
So I think the voxels are going to be playing some role.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can look into that a little bit.
Now, is voxel technology? I'm going to get that voxel counter up there. I'm going to say it so many times.
Yep.
I mean, if you don't mind, where are applications outside of just say a game like RESOGUN? I mean, what have you guys considered? Like, what kind of opportunities it affords you and maybe other developers?
Right. So, I mean, we're just opening the field again. I mean, I'm not saying we're the first one with this, but we're the first one on this generation. So there's a lot of opportunities where to go. I think it's a cool thing, especially like when you beat the level, you can actually see all this stuff blowing up. So the physics things and so on. So it's a cool look. It's definitely a field to be explored.
Yeah. As I just looking at this, it's just kind of like, yeah, I want to just take some voxels home in my pocket. They just look like they would just be fun to have there.
We should have like paired up with Lego or
something. What's up,
yeah, that's not a bad idea.
RESOGUN play sets, build your own voxel ships.
Boom.
But yeah, it's actually funny because the voxels in the middle. I'll give you some real detailed information here. They're of course just squares, the cubes built up because you can stack them up like that. But the voxels on the playing field, they have to have rounded edges because they would have these kind of notches in between otherwise. So we actually had to create a new kind of voxel for RESOGUN specifically, which is the rounded voxel. Or
what's up, dude?
Exactly.
So you really do construct objects with voxels as you might do with in a Rector set or Legos. Like that really isn't, a stretch of an analogy.
No.
Can we just
exactly
look at the destruction I'm causing with this gun right now?
That's
so
epic voxel destruction.
That has got to be my favorite. Like that's G Darius levels of super gun right there. Like that's amazing.
If you're gonna have a badass gun, then I'm thinking that's the way to go. Overdrive, yeah.
The one that just takes things apart, voxel by voxel.
Yep.
Oh, what's up, dude? That guy's mine.
Let's see. Does the touchpad on the DualShock 4 do anything?
So in this regular gameplay, there's no implementation of that yet. All the cool features we'll come up with later. I'm sure we'll use it at some point. I'm pretty sure that in the menus you can, use the scroll around. But other than that, nothing as of yet.
I love this comment from Chasmos. Third level's where it gets crazy, apparently.
Yeah.
First and second level get kind of crazy.
It's one of those things that
I definitely jumping into 3 was not the best thing for me, but now that I've been playing through level 1, because you have to kind of acclimate, right? I'm feeling
you have to get that muscle back,
It's one of those things that every time you go through the first level, and there's so many different ways of scoring, collecting all the humans, having the multiplier, doing the combos. So when you get all those things in line, the first level kind of sets the pace, right? And if you do an arcade mode and you want to beat the whole game, you want to start off slow, not to rush things, so you can get into the zone and then amp it up.
Because it does have that Stardust pacing where it's like you'll get your multiplier way up, but if you sort of put yourself into a large empty space, that multiplier doesn't mean anything because you're going to lose it instantly.
Exactly.
Yeah, you have to put yourself in danger to be able to keep the game going.
Yeah, and especially like the bomb, if you clear the whole screen, then the multiplier might go out because you always have to be shooting somebody for that multiplier to keep going.
Always be shooting.
So how does the controller feel in your hands playing a game with it?
Feels really good, man. It definitely feels really good. There's something a little more, you know, now that the sticks, the little sticks here for your hand, the hand grips, get a little wider and a little bubblier down at the bottom.
That's what I've quite liked about that controller. Is it just.
Well, because
I feel like somebody was thinking about my hand.
Since the original DualShock, it's always been like, well, we know that these two things for hand grips are good and that they work, and that we were kind of the first to do them. And they haven't really changed them very much since then, in terms, like, they've gotten a little thicker over time, but actually having the difference as the stick goes down towards the bottom, talking while shooting, forming sentences.
Yeah, okay, I'm moving back to you, Michael. I think it's a little fair.
If you look at it, the design has been similar since DualShock 1.
Yeah.
And now this is the greatest, I think, reform of that.
Yes, definitely.
Basic design. And definitely, I think it's sturdier. I'm, of course, biased, working this closely with Sony.
I'll go ahead and hear you out, but yes.
No, but I
your
like
level
it.
of familiarity is quite.
But still, it's within the Sony DualShock lineup.
Yeah.
I think this is by far the best.
Well, you know,
that's
I haven't spent as much time as you,
sticks
but I
feel
already
a little
concur.
better too.
So.
And like you said before, when you don't feel this controller and when you don't realize that that's what you're doing.
What I felt with my
that's a big
time with
deal,
the controller is that I stopped noticing the controller, which I think is a really, really, really good thing.
There is a lip around the analog sticks here at the top on the thumb part, whereas instead of just being a curve like this, you guys can see there's like a lip
there,
that kind of keeps your thumb in. So when you get the house mark sweats because you're shooting a lot of things, your fingers don't slip off.
It's like the old school days when you actually get into some of
it also seems like if you're going to control from the edge of the stick, you can kind of keep your finger there as well.
Yeah.
Into it.
How was it? In the zone?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. And it was important to play that first level because just like Stardust, where you have to learn to see what's right over the horizon, with this one you do have to learn to be like, okay, well, what's at the back of the cylinder? I have to be like seeing that out of the corner of my eye. I have to know where I'm going next. And it's hard because there's so much going on in the foreground to develop that sort of depth of field in your vision.
Exactly.
Well, Michael, I think we're slowly going to wrap things up, but let's just reiterate, this will be available at the launch of the PlayStation 4, obviously in the US. That will be on November 15th.
Yes.
And it comes free with a PlayStation Plus account.
It does. So, yeah, free with the PlayStation Plus. And November 29th for Europe.
We November 29th for Europe. I was quickly doing some math, and what's 2 weeks later?
Exactly, yeah. So everybody's going to get it. It's going to be free for everybody in the beginning.
And it is a visual feast, to say the very least. Michael, thank you so much for stopping by and bringing it. It was a real special treat. Anthony, at some point, is going to have to give up that controller, but we'll just do that after we turn this camera off.
Just imagine that I shook your hand.
Thank you so much for dropping by and checking out this game. Hopefully, we will have more of these in the very, very near future. And the very, very far future. And, well, yeah, there it is.
We've
Next-gen
got
gameplay. Voxels. See you later.